Hello, I'm JJ and welcome to my follow-up review for the Huawei Honor 6X. There will be little in the way of specs, no benchmarks and nothing fancy. I've had a really good chance to use this phone and thought I'd just share some more thoughts and findings with you. The Honor 6X has had lots of attention since it was launched, mainly due to its dual rear camera setup. The camera quality is excellent generally speaking, especially for the cost of £220 here in the UK, which makes it very affordable. It's clear that the 6X is great for smartphone photography, probably the best out there at the moment for the price, but how important is that? Is it actually a bad phone with great cameras, or is it a good all-rounder? Let's see whether the Honor 6X is actually worth buying aside from the camera quality. Firstly, the build quality and overall feel. This is a big but not too heavy phone with a bright 5.5-inch LCD screen. I have medium to large hands and as you can see I can't quite reach the top. Unless you're an NBA player, that probably means this will be a device you'll need two hands to use, so bear that in mind. The curved back edges do help make the 6X feel more comfortable, but I found it made it a little slippery when reaching across the screen. As you can see, when I reach over, the body of the phone starts to slip out of my hand. I'd have preferred slightly squared off edges at the back just to help with the grip. The buttons feel a bit cheap, but they're clicky and well positioned, although I do sometimes mix up the power button with the volume rocker just because there's no texture to it. On the bottom is a fairly average mono speaker. It's moderately loud, okay for ringtones, but it's tinny and generally speaking quite unimpressive. It's not front facing of course, and it doesn't seem even as good as last year's 5X. The fingerprint sensor is excellent. It's an always-on active type sensor, meaning it reacts as soon as a registered finger is placed against it. It's very accurate, works 100% of the time for me, and extremely quick. One of the very best I've used. I prefer the sensor to be on the side or front, but it works really well and is easy to find when holding the phone and taking it from a pocket. Performance has been very good for a mid-ranged phone. Day-to-day use is very snappy. I haven't experienced any lag or slowdown. The 6X hasn't crashed once, I've not needed to reset it, and it never overheats. But I'm not a heavy gamer though, so if you are, that may slow things down a bit, so bear that in mind. RAM management seems quite good too, and is easily controllable. The cameras are the biggest selling point on the 6X. The rear camera is capable of very good photos with crisp detail. I did find shots are occasionally overexposed and a little washed out, but in general terms this is an excellent camera. Shot-to-shot times aren't blazingly fast however, although focus is quick enough. The different modes is what this camera is all about, particularly the pseudo bokeh effect created when rear cameras combine to generate the illusion of a narrow depth of field. This was very effective, but I did find it a bit of a gimmick to be honest. But if that's your thing, then I don't think you'll be disappointed. There are various other fun modes available too, some of them quite useful. There's light trail, colour splash mode, food, HDR, etc, etc. Lots to be found. There's also a fairly useful manual mode. There's no 4K video recording here though, so bear that in mind if it's important to you. This phone really is geared up for people who want to get the most out of the camera experience without having to pay flagship prices. The front camera is pretty good too, mostly bright clear photos with good focus. This is the phone for you if you want fun, reliable photo modes and clear selfies, there's no doubting that. Software was good. I like the little Huawei tweaks, similarities with iOS. I used Nova Launcher myself, so the lack of an app drawer wasn't a problem to me. But if you're coming from an iPhone, it probably won't be too much of an issue to you anyway. I like how the fingerprint scanner can be used to lower the notification area, swipe between photos in the gallery app, and even take a photo. Battery life, in my opinion, is more than adequate. I comfortably manage a day and a half, sometimes two, between charges, which with my use is around 6 hours of on-screen time with brightness at high. I'm not a heavy gamer though, so again please bear that in mind, but I do use location services, Bluetooth, I make calls, take photos, browse the web, watch videos, etc. Charging times aren't massively quick. I tend to slow charge overnight with this phone anyway, but 0 to 100% Took me around 2.5 hours or so with a supplied charger. Not that impressive. The purpose of this video is to say whether I feel the 6X is a good all-rounder, worthy of your money, or whether it's just a great camera system attached to a fairly average phone. There's a big doubt in my mind over build quality with this 6X. I had concerns about it when I first started using it. It didn't even seem as well put together as my 5X from last year, which I still own. The recent jerry-rig video confirmed that this isn't the most robust phone in the world. It failed the bend test quite catastrophically. The fragile build could put you off, it certainly has me. It also looks like the scratch resistance properties of the screen leave something to be desired as well. I haven't found any major flaws in the day-to-day running and operation of the 6X. Battery life is good enough, as is performance. The screen is bright and sharp. The biggest letdown to me is the build quality and the weak single speaker. Personally, I find 5.5-inch phones too big, as I like one-handed use, and having accidentally drowned 2 phones, I would probably only keep one permanently now that is waterproof to some degree. Having said that, I've used the 6X for a fair amount of time. I can confidently say it is a good enough phone that is worth the money if you're careful with it. I can't think of a better UK sourced new handset for this price at the moment if you're looking for a good camera. So on that basis alone, I can thoroughly recommend it. It's competing against some great phones in the price range. So the only area that this currently stands out is the camera experience. There's nothing else that's exceptional. It's a bit of a one-trick pony, to be honest. If photo taking is not a high priority to you, I can't think of a compelling reason to buy the Honor 6X, and I think your money could be better spent elsewhere. But if you want a low-cost handset that does look nice, it handles well, and overall it takes great photos, then that's the reason for buying the Honor 6X. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please like, comment and subscribe, as that will encourage me to create more and try to improve. So until the next one, thank you for watching.